Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives here rent free. Rent free.
What's up, everybody? This is your main man, Tech Supreme, back with another episode of Rent Free with Tech Supreme. We are in the lab. I was going to change positions today, but I decided not to. I was going to change like the camera angle. Well, this is kind of a different from last week, but I was going to change the location. I was going to do it somewhere else in the house. But you know what? I'm comfortable here. I got my computer here. I got my timer here, so I know exactly how long I'm going for. So we're gonna do it like that. Thanks for listening to the last episode. If you did, please let me know some proper feedback if you can. I do appreciate it. Let's just get into episode 29, bro. Um, First things first, I want to talk about St. Louis and crime. Now, this has been a crazy week for me. Last week was kind of crazy, which I didn't put an episode out, which is fine. You'll be fine. But this week was crazy because Monday I almost got into a collision. Basically, I was driving home from running errands about, I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a regular day, and I was crossing near my house, a very busy intersection, and someone decided that that red light that they had and who had been red for a moment wasn't good enough for them. That they were going to run the red light no matter what. Now, I'm a very cautious driver, extremely cautious driver. So I did see it coming. I did have a couple seconds beforehand to figure out what I was going to do. So as I'm preparing for the impact, I I gunned it, and even with me gunning it through the intersection, I thought he was gonna hit me anyway, or she. I didn't. I never got a chance to see they were going so fast. So I never got a chance to see like, and they also had tinted windows. Excuse me. I'm trying to formulate my thoughts. So long story short, they missed. They barely fucking missed. It was super close, and as I was leaving the intersection, there was a car that was doing a U-turn. For some reason, there's a business by my house that is the worst. It's not good. It's just not a good business. Like they serve. I don't want to give up like my location, so I won't say what they serve. But they serve this thing that they just don't do it well. But for some reason, it's a St. Louis staple, so people like it. But it's horrible. But for some reason, the people that this business attracts are the worst drivers. Like, they have a parking lot that's super close to their doors, but then they have another one that's a little further away. But you would think this is the only parking lot they have. The way people stop traffic to get into it, or they wait in the middle of the street. But there's like a whole empty parking lot on the other side of the building. So people already are bad drivers because of this business. So this person is doing a U-turn, and they just stop and they're just looking at me, almost die. I slam my brakes so I don't hit them, and then I just like very frustratingly motioned for them to go. Like, why are you just stopped in the middle of the street? And I just had to like flee for my fucking life through this intersection. So that kind of put a sour note on the rest of my day because of all the things that are happening in St. Louis. I want to say rest in peace to the 4 young adults who lost their lives last weekend. In a situation in which this man, this 30-something-year-old man, decides that he is above stopping at a red light, so he goes around everyone stopped at the red light, and this was by slew, about 1 o'clock in the morning, Saturday or Sunday morning, but Saturday night, Sunday morning. He goes all the way around, runs the intersection, and this car is filled with 8, 19, and 20-year-olds, and he they're just driving, and they're coming off of the highway getting onto a parkway. So they were traveling the speed that they should be traveling in, and this car just destroys them. And the car gets pushed off of a bridge and lands upside down. 4 of the 8 individuals lost their lives. And with that in the back of my mind after this hit and run, like, it just kind of floored me. Like, it just put me in a very bad mental health place because I was so close to death, and because of someone's inability to care about anyone else's lives, including their own. So my heart goes out to those four people who lost their lives. I ended up donating to one of theirs GoFundMe because I was so shook up and emotional about my near car accident, and then just the thought of like, man, like these kids had their whole lives ahead of them, and some idiot asshole just takes it away from them for nothing. So the guy eventually turned himself in. He's such an asshole that he hit them, jumped out of the car, took his license plates off his car, and ran off. So that's what type of person you're dealing with here. And there's a bunch of people on my Facebook who know him. I hope he just, hope he goes to jail for a long time for that. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where my mind was at this week. And then we famously about 2 weeks ago, a young woman was with her family traveling from Tennessee, and she was doing a volleyball tournament in St. Louis, where a driver was speeding and running intersections, and the car crashed, hit her. They had to amputate her legs. She was only 17 years old, which the reaction in the city is so interesting right now with crime because we have predominantly black women in positions of power right now. We have a black mayor, black female. Oh, excuse me, I don't like saying female. That's gross. I just saw a video on YouTube where this black woman was referring to males and females, so it's fresh in my head. We have a black mayor, black woman mayor, Tashara Jones. I believe Cori Bush is Senate, and then you have Kim Gardner as the circuit attorney. Everyone hates Kim Gardner. I don't. Now, I don't know if she's lax on crime or not, right? Like, we don't have statistics. Crime is out of control right now, but that seems to me like we're just picking a scapegoat instead of addressing all the issues that are really at hand. And when you see all these people of the community of the city who are like attacking Kim Gardner, they always have something in common. Now, they also are attacking the three women who I mentioned. They have something in common as well. So if you take those two things and you put them together, you kind of see where I'm getting at here. I think a lot of it, when you're black and in a position of power, you're expected to be absolutely perfect. Now, as a young black man, you get told the speech that you have to work twice as hard. And that's the same thing that I hear. Like, they have to be perfect, twice as perfect as someone else that had a different color skin. Now, is Kim Gardner doing perfect? No, probably not, right? But like, is she responsible for all of this? No. There's so many people in politics and so many people in government, and there's so many working wheels that it's not on one person. But in my opinion, here's what I think is going on. I think Kim Gardner, when she took circuit attorney office, she said, I'm going after police. And the first thing she did was she made a list of corrupt police and that she's not going to try their cases. Now, this was in hopes to stop police corruption. But I think what happened was they decided, oh, you're not going to fuck with us. Well, we're going to make everyone hate you. So we're going to sit on our hands, which is something that happens in government all the time. And that's what it is. So everyone's sitting here blaming Kim Gardner for crime when really police aren't doing their jobs. And well, for one, the police job in itself is reactionary. So everyone has, I feel like most people have the wrong the misconception about cops anyway. Like, they're not here to save you. They're here to take a report when you're done getting whatever happens. And I just think that it's a game that only the citizens suffer from. You know, like the game that the police and the circuit attorney's office, they're doing, I think only we suffer for it. And then you have the racial divide that's of course, because St. Louis is racist, that you have now. Well, you have like every time anything goes wrong, if there's any crime, it's Kim Gardner's fault. Kim Gardner's fault. Well, how about Kenneth Gregory, the police chief? Like, what is anyone doing, right? Like, it is not one person's responsibility to stop crime. Like, they can't. Like, the circuit attorney's not stopping crime. Now, the woman who lost her lives, her legs, not her lives, but her legs, the driver should not have been driving. So everyone blames Kim Gardner for that. Well, she makes a press conference and said, here are all the documents that we told the judge, like, hey, we need to revoke this bond, we need to do this and that, and the third, and it's all rejected. So you have all these systems pointing at Kim Gardner. Kim Gardner's pointing at other people, and we just need peace in these. We just need like peace in the streets. We just want to survive. We just want to be able to walk, or drive home from errands. We just want to walk from volleyball tournaments to the hotel room. We just want. That's all. So just everyone needs to get it together, and people of the community understand that you're being racist. Like this is what it is. Like anytime I see you post it, Cori Bush just married a person in her security detail. They have a problem with that. They literally said get her out of there. That's illegal. It's which is not. So now it's corruption, and she's paying him under the table. No, she's not. What are you talking about? So like you can't do anything and be black in St. Louis in a position of power because they're going to try to chop you down because you're black and you're not doing your job. Even though when it's people of non-melanated, they don't even know who they are. They have no idea. They have no idea who the circus attorney was before this. They have no idea. They won't be happy until she's gone. It is what it is. That's my rant on it. I don't like it at all. It pisses me off nearly daily when I see these articles, and I have a problem. If you know me, you know I have a problem with reading comments. I read comments. I shouldn't. It's stupid. I do. I shouldn't. It's dumb. But yeah. So yeah, your boy is literally coming out of an existential crisis because of the car accident, and St. Louis is looking real lawless right now. And protect yourselves and your family. I'm doing what I can. I started the safety committee in my neighborhood this last couple months. So we had a really successful meeting with a lot more people that I thought would be there. I think we got a good head of steam to try to make our neighborhood a little bit safer. Super excited about that. Another thing too is like a lot of these people, these fake political science people, they don't get involved. They just get on their keyboards and become warriors, but they don't do nothing in the streets. They're not outside. They're not trying to rally the community. They're not doing anything to make this place a better city. All they're doing is getting online and complaining and talking shit and being racist. That's all they do. And I'm talking about most of them. Even like most people, like get involved. Like come on, stop playing. All right, moving on. Jordans. Now, this doesn't really like. I wrote this particular list the other day. And my first few topics, the car break-ins, that was one, which I didn't even talk about the car break-in the week before. So I'll save that for another episode, which I literally had my gun in hand. I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing this person break into my neighbor's car, but the kid was like a fucking 14-year-old. So, like, you know, what are you supposed to do in that situation? Like, I'm not going to take the life of a 14-year-old for material possession. That's a different story for another day. But my second topic was Jordans. And I find it really weird that as a society and as a culture, that you can't really buy Jordans if it's not 1 through 13. Which means for, I don't know however many long that, you know, like 20 years, that everyone's wearing the same shoes over and over again. Just different colors, and like even if you like step out on a limb and you wear like a Jordan that's not like out of 1 through 12. When I say 1 through 12, Jordan 1 through Jordan 12 or 13. I think 13 is acceptable. I mean obviously 13 is acceptable. 14 is a little bit on the fence. But as soon as you do wear anything outside of that, people are gonna make fun of you. People are gonna hit you with one of those. You can't wear Jordan trainers. That's a whole like world of getting laughed at. And I think that's really weird that we all like everyone, a lot of people, they bust their ass to get these shoes just to look alike, just to be bots, just to like have the same shoes. And I'm guilty. I got Jordan 3s in different colors. I got 13s in different colors. I got 12s in different colors. But like I've started because I was in that mindset for a long time. Well, I only buy Nikes, I only buy Jordans. But now I kind of switch, and like if I like a shoe, I buy the shoe. So I'm wearing a lot of Pumas lately because LaMelo Ball has made my favorite basketball shoe, the comfort wise, 2 years in a row. Also, he does a collab with Rick and Morty, which if you know me, you know I love Rick and Morty. So I got the Rick and Morty season 1, his first season shoes, and they just dropped the season 2, which I thought were horrendous, but I ended up loving them on feet. But like my whole point is like, why is everyone being bots? Like, why is everyone we do the same thing, and everyone looks the same. Everyone's carbon copy of themselves with these Jordans. Just be different, and don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to have some shoes that people are going to be like, what the fuck? The Rick and Morty MB.02, so the LaMelo Balls too. They have glitter on them. They're like the furthest shoe that you'd think I would wear. But when I put them on, man, they look fire. Don't worry about anyone else's opinion. Stop buying the same Jordans every single year in different colors. It's stupid. It's pointless. It's a waste of money, and everyone looks like a bunch of bots. So take with that what you will. In my opinion, difference should be celebrated. Our differences should be celebrated. Let's not wear the same shoes. But moving on, it's a dumb topic for sure. Fuck Shazam and fuck Aquaman 2. These two sequels are about to come out in the next few months from DC, Detective Comics. So it's always funny too, because like their name is Detective Comics, but people say DC Comics, so they're actually saying Detective Comics Comics. I digress. But they announced, the James Gunn thing. They announced that they're switching up all the characters. They're getting rid of Henry Cavill. He's no longer Superman. Ben Affleck's no longer Batman, which is the same thing they've been saying for years. But he's pretty serious. James Gunn's pretty serious about it. Why would they announce this 2 years ahead, and then still have movies from this universe come out? I don't get it. I don't care about Shazam 2 because there is no connected universe. Plus, comes to find out, Zachary Levi is kind of a dick. And then Aquaman 2, I don't care. I didn't. The first one is not even that good, to be completely honest. They're still coming out with this Flash movie with the one person who probably should be canceled, Ezra Miller. He's not. I don't understand that either. Um, I just don't care about anything DC got going on, and I'm a big comic books fan. I'm a fanatic when it comes to comic books. Me and my homie Ben talking about getting a Marvel Comics tattoo, which I'm 100% going to do, and I think I might put it right here on my bicep. Um, I love the comics. I love the comic book stories. I've been loving it my whole life, but DC has lost my faith, and as a fan. I'm going to go see these movies. I'm not going to see them opening night. I don't care about it that much. I'm going to go on a Tuesday morning when it's $5 tickets, probably $6 or $7 IMAX. I'm going to watch it once. I'm not buying it when it comes on digital. I'm done investing in the DC movies, period. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys are excited about the DC movies, I thought Shazam 1 was awesome. I thought it was really dope. But then again, even in that, with the state of that they were in, they had a post-credit scene in the first one with Superman, but you couldn't see his face because they just weren't ready to commit to Henry Cavill, which is dumb because he's the best Superman there was. Fight me on it. And Aquaman 2, just the first one was a dud, man. It just wasn't that good. And so I'm not excited for Aquaman 2. Like, scrap it all. The Flash, I'll be the first one to admit. I said this on episode 28. The Flash movie, the trailer looks great. Ultimately, I don't care though, because it's like there's no point. Plus, Ezra Miller's an asshole. He's an abusive mental health, fucking collapsed mental health nut. Like, I don't want to support him. Like, go get some help, bro. Stop terrorizing people. So DC Comics does not have my dollar. They don't have my faith. I mean, I'll throw them a couple bucks just to see it and get out the way so I can talk about it, but not excited at all. Now, one thing that was entertaining was the Murdoch murders. If you're familiar with it, then you already know. If you're not, you have. It's an interesting story, man. I knew the story when it happened with the young woman. One of the kids basically was one of the so this family. Let me start with the top. The Murdoch family. They're some ballers. They own the court systems. Basically, they run shit in their little small hokey tokey. What hokey? I don't know what hokey I'm trying to say, but in their little small town, they run shit, right? And they had money and they had power, and the family could make shit go away, so they did. The kid got dumb drunk like he always does. He's abusive. He was crazy. He's wilding out. He's driving their boat and he crashes it and kills one of the girls, right? So that's fucked up. So the family's trying to pin it on one of the other kids, trying to say that he was driving because they're trying to get the heat off the Murdoch kid. Long story short, he doesn't really do any time for this, so it's all pending trial. Um, and that brought a lot of attention to the family. There was another incident with the older brother, possibly he could have gotten his mysterious. We don't know. We don't know, but it seems like he got this kid killed because they were in a intimate homosexual relationship, and he didn't want anyone to know. Now that's all we don't know. We don't. I don't know. The documentary on Netflix, I feel like they didn't know, but it kind of seems like, just with the tone of everything else, that it's likely. So then, basically, long story short, the dad kills his wife and his youngest son. And then basically tries to say, like, oh, I was here visiting my parents, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't. He was there. He did the shit. And the story gets even weirder. He tries to kill himself, and the guy who he got to do it didn't kill him. Shot him in the head, but didn't kill him, or some wild shit. It is some weird shit. Well, the reason why I like talking about it is because this is not an outlier to me. There's people with families, which is kind of where you get all of, like, the benefits of systemic racism. His family's been protected for years, right? For like generations. Now, they didn't start doing this generation. No, don't get it twisted. The Murdaughs weren't doing this. Just this Alex Murdogh didn't just discover this ability to do dirt and get away with it. This is something they've been doing forever. You know this, and you have to believe that if that's one instance of a family with power abusing it, then there's more, right? And I'm not going to say any names because I'm not trying to end up missing, but there's some families in Missouri that some of us know about that kind of, let's just say they can unalive some people and sweep it under the rug. It is what it is. I think it's super interesting. It's really a fast 45-minute, 3-episode mini documentary. It's really worth checking out. He just got sentenced today to life in prison, which is fantastic because he did that shit. And yeah, interesting story. Check it out if you get a chance. Murders of Murdoch, something like that, on Netflix. Super interesting. Speaking of murders and life in prison, Tim Norman of Sweetie Pie's fame. Now, if you're from St. Louis, then you know about Sweetie Pie's because it was a soul food restaurant that's really fantastic. The owner, Miss Roby, seems like a super nice lady, but she's just, the family around her, it's a little wild. Now, her son, her older son passed away. He was definitely into crime. And then Tim did a stint for burglary, got out. He was on TV. They were on the OWN network. They were just, movers and shakers. And I have met Tim plenty of times. I used to work out with a group of guys, and Tim used to work out in the same gym, and they all knew each other. So by proxy, I was, saying what's up to Tim or whatever. But yeah, basically got his nephew killed for insurance money. And today, or this week, I believe yesterday or 2 days ago, his sentence was read to him. He's found guilty a couple months ago, and he got life in prison. I am definitely still watching the situation because I believe the actual shooter is sentenced already. The accomplice female is sentenced, and we're waiting on the life insurance person, which is someone I do know on a personal level, to see what happens with him. Hopefully, because I don't think he had anything to do with the murder part. So hopefully, like, he doesn't get into too much shit. But fingers crossed for the homie. But yeah, I'm glad Tim Norman is in. You do the crime, you do the time, got life in prison. That's the end of that story. That's the end of his story. It is a tragic end. I feel sorry for Andre Montgomery. I'm sorry that he lost his life because of someone in his family who wanted more money, more greed. It's very unfortunate, but justice has been served in this case, so to speak. So yeah. Rest in peace, Tim Norman, because your life's over, buddy. Power Up Party. Now, last Friday night, a week ago today, I DJ'd DJ Epic's Team Epic Gaming's Power Up Party. It is a mix between nightlife and video games. It was a great time. My feet were super killing me afterwards. DJing for like 4 hours, for some reason, kills my feet. The homie Spontaneous, who's a part of Team Gaming, Team Epic Gaming, he was there, and he always says every time, he's like, you need to get a fatigue mat. It's supposed to help with that. But it was a good time. One thing that stood out to me was there was a kid who I believe is autistic, and he was already just in the comic book shop and just hanging out. And when he realized that there was a tournament, he asked his dad if he could stay. His dad let him. And then as the night progressed, I think the dad had a babysitter, had to go home and get his sister. But the kid was very appreciative of something. I wasn't there because I was DJing, but my wife told me about this, that like he felt very comfortable in this space that we had created, and I thought that was the coolest thing. Like that's so dope to me. I didn't meet him because I was again working, but the fact that like he was there on a whim and he was able to hang out the whole night, I thought that was so dope, and that he felt comfortable there. That's kind of like when you do an event and you just want to create a safe atmosphere, a fun atmosphere, and I think we all did that that night. So that was my takeaway from it. That was my favorite part of that, was learning that story, as it was as I was DJing. Of course, I didn't know what was going on, but afterwards, just learning about that story, and it just made me feel good inside. So shout out to DJ Epic, shout out to Spontaneous Mix, shout out to my homegirl Melanie. She was there. There's a bunch of other people that I do not remember their names, and please forgive me if you see this. But shout out to everyone a part of Team Epic Gaming. It was awesome, and I look forward to our next event. And you know me, I don't like to do these podcasts for too long. I've done 2-hour podcasts before. The 60-minute shit show was an hour. I've done radio shows at Wash U, all kinds of stuff. I like to keep it 25, 30 minutes, so you get in and get out, and that's that. So let me do my spiel. The cringy stuff is, if you like it, hit the like button. If you really like it, hit the share button. Subscribe if you haven't. If you like the YouTube video, smash the like button. Hit the notification so you get notified every time I upload. I do want to thank you personally for listening. You have a lot of choices in podcasts. You do. We all do. So if you listen to this one, I really appreciate you. And that's it. So be safe. If the light turns green, do not go yet. Give it a couple seconds. Don't blame one person in politics for all of the problems of the city. That doesn't make sense. Don't buy the same shoes. Don't watch Sam and Aquaman. Do watch Murdoch Murders, because that's entertaining. And don't kill people for insurance money. That's the takeaways from this episode. My name is Tech Supreme. That's episode 29. I will see you next time. Peace. Good night.
Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head rent free.